My name is David Shaw, and I am the lead of the PC project on Destiny 2.
There's a lot of new stuff when it comes to Destiny 2. Talk about what the overall goals were heading into this game.
So Destiny 2 is really, it's very much about finding people to play with. You always want to have somebody to play with. It's a great new cinematic story. The story focuses on the loss of power and home. There's this, in one fell swoop, Guardians lose their home, they lose their light, and now they're wandering. They're saying, okay, who are we? What do we need to do? Like, how do we get back to where we were? And so it transfers from a game about loss and turns into a game about recovery and this hopeful spirit.
In some ways, it's basically cleaning the slate and starting over. So what does that open up for people new to the Destiny franchise?
It was very important to us with Destiny 2 that we give new people the opportunity to come play without feeling like they were behind. And so the white slate, it's fresh and clean. Sure, we're looking at the veterans and we're saying we love you, we want to honor you, while attracting a bunch of new players who might have felt like, oh, this game, people have been playing it for a year and a half. I don't feel comfortable jumping in right now. There's no better time to jump in. Everyone is starting from the same point, and so we think that's going to be a great experience for everyone.
Can you give us a broad overview of the new antagonists and what they bring to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So the head of the bad guys is Dominus Gall. He is absolutely just a total Cabal badass, and he commands the Red Legion. The Red Legion is kind of like, I like to think of them as the Cabal Navy SEALs. They are the best of the best. They are brutal, they are tough, they are many. And as you can see from the video and the Burning 2 on stage, we lose. They kick us out of our home. They manage to do something to the Traveler to make it like we no longer have our light. They are a really, really tough crew. There are new units like the Incendior, the Gladiator, and others, the War Beast. They're a bunch of new units. They play differently. They're harder. They're different. There's just a lot of fun in that group.
But at the same time, we have new subclasses for the Vanguards. Can you run through those?
So we're not talking about all the subclasses that we got coming. We've got great stories to tell all through the year. You saw from both the video and the gameplay available today that there are some new classes like the Dawnblade that's playable today on the floor. There are also remastered subclasses like the Striker, where instead of being the Fist of Havoc, it's now the Fists of Havoc, where you can do multiple slams. And so we've got a bunch of stuff coming. More to talk about that in the future.
When it comes to this game, can you talk a little about the new elements that the new worlds that people will explore? 4 new worlds.
Yeah, so there are 4 new worlds. The first one is the European Dead Zone, or we call it EDZ. EDZ is the biggest destination we've ever shipped with Destiny, and it is just enormous, and it's lush and green and beautiful, and there's a broken city, and there's underground caves, and it's full of stuff to explore. There is Titan, which is basically a methane ocean, and there are these old derelict platforms that were built during the Golden Age, and they are a place that are just kind of creepy and dark and just amazing. You look out on the vistas and these just huge ocean waves. There's also Io, which is the last place that the Traveler touched down, and so it's a little bit more mysterious. It's super relevant. Like the Warlocks think of it as a holy place. And then our last destination is Nessus, and Nessus is a planetoid that has been almost entirely taken over by the Vex, and so it's got these sheer cliff walls and this lush, weird vegetation and these creepy Vex caverns and caves, and they're all super interesting environments and all brand new for Destiny 2.
Let's also talk a little about what's new when it comes to PvP.
So PvP, we basically looked at Destiny 1 and said, okay, let's go back to first principles. How do we want to handle PvP in Destiny 2? What is the experience we want? And the PvP team reevaluated and looked at things, and they said, oh, we love our PvP, but here are the things we really want to focus on. And they looked at things like they wanted the game to be like ultimately super watchable. They wanted the game to be super learnable. They want you to be able to play a PvP match and at the end of it understand, why did I not do as successfully there as I had hoped to? And the move from 6 to 4 really gives you a lot of understanding, because all of the encounters are more understandable. Your role is more laid out for you. And so that change, I think, is a huge boon to Destiny 2's PvP, and it's playable again on the show floor today.
You guys also have co-op playable here as well.
Yes,
Talk a little about what's new there.
So today you'll basically find a strike that's playable. It's called the Inverted Mind, or sorry, the Inverted Spire. And the Inverted Spire is a mission where you basically go and you attack this Cabal drill that's drilling down into the surface. And at the end you find this multi-stage boss that's really, really tough. In Cooperative, we've kind of doubled down. There's lots of ways you can do Cooperative. You can explore the world, which is explorable by yourself, or you can do it as a fire team, go through. We've got strikes, we've got a new raid coming. There's just a ton to do in Destiny. Destiny is a very, very strong co-op game.
Yeah, a lot here to play, and this is just a tip of the iceberg, but in a sense, can you give us a sense of scale of how much bigger this game may have been from past games?
I don't have a great answer for comparison, but I can tell you it's big. The amount of exploration we've added these things called adventures, which are basically little like 10 to 15 minute chunks of time that you can go and explore and learn more about the world and get gear and loot that makes your Guardian stronger. There are lost sectors, which are very much like almost like a dungeon kind of experience where you can crawl away and go and fight big monsters at the end with again more loot. There's lots of stuff to find under every rock, behind every door. There's either a treasure chest or there's a monster to fight, and so there's just a ton to do in the world.
And now there's maps to help you find your own way.
Now there's maps. So instead of having to be like, oh, I don't know where to go, or go to the internet and find a map, we're trying to make it a lot easier to find the things that you're interested in doing.
Which also ties into not needing to go to orbit anymore for planet to planet.
It's true. So orbit still exists as a safe place to get your fire team together, move your gear around, do those kinds of things. But we found that in Destiny 1 there was some frustration, and we even felt it, where having to go orbit between every activity, and so we put a lot of work in Destiny 2 into making that experience as seamless as possible. So if you're running through the world, patrolling, and all of a sudden you find something and you say, oh, I want to go do that right now, just do it.
I like the quote, least amount of time between your gun and the enemy's face.
Absolutely. Shooting aliens in the face is what this is all about.